Oh, right. Lights. Some people like those. And also that. There we go. All right. That looks harrowing and terrifying. But I'm going to assume we're live, which is always good. You know, I'm going to record this session because I've been constantly meaning to have a recording of some of these streams that, like, just in case the stream itself or the VOD dies, I have something that reflects that we streamed here today. And also, like, a lot of this is in my hopes of it being educational. But hello if you're watching the VOD. Hello if you're joining for the first time. I'm probably going to say hello 1,000 times again. There's been a lot of stuff happening since the last time I've streamed. So first thing, I'm in a new space, obviously. So Allison and I have moved, which is really nice. And we now have respective kind of studio spaces. So hopefully she'll be streaming sometimes, and you'll be able to see that kind of change reflected in her space. I'm going to move this mic because that one's not even working. But yeah, like we both have our own spaces, which is really cool, of course. And we also can like decorate it and gear it up to where it works really nicely for both of our needs, which is nice. I like streaming whenever I have availability, of course. So, hey, Gio, how's it going? Yeah, as I was saying, this is the first time I'm actually able to kind of stream out of this room now. But it's really nice. I have a lot of my instruments at the ready, and there's a couple more on the side here. I have officially hit a very like privileged problem. I have so many guitars that I don't have enough stands or like rack space for them. So yeah, there's like at least one guitar that's just standing up now. But you know, they all get played pretty frequently, so I'm happy about that. But in any case, yeah, not only did I move to a new studio room and all of that, but also we have like a garage again, so I'm able to stream or film in that space now and make some music videos. So that's what I have here today. I'm going to use DaVinci Resolve, first of all, something that I'm trying to do because more people are able to use it. And just in general, sometimes I found the color suite to be more important to me. I'm probably still going to use Premiere because I make money with Premiere. More people have had a need for me to also use Adobe products, so I know I'm going to get like a million questions about this as I start using it more, but yeah, I figure I should give it a shot to kind of share that. Also, I think I knocked my Wi-Fi thing down. That might affect my signal. So I'm going to try and set that back up. And then I might explain how that looks at some point. But it's basically a Wi-Fi antenna. There we go. Okay, hopefully that's better. If my stream starts stuttering, I will change things. Anyway, so I'm gonna start by making a project. If you make a new project, it'll look like this if you hit media. But if you have any differences, of course, you may have to start from the beginning. And obviously you won't have a bunch of random video clips either. One knock already. I wish that I could make these folders have colors, but I don't know how, and it's not very obvious how. And then I'm just gonna take all my footage and put it in this footage folder, and then I like right-clicking and making bins folders. So I'm gonna call this one timeline. Some folks might wonder, like, why would you make all these different folders? It doesn't matter. I can tell you I've opened up projects where people asked me if I could help them edit, and they were horrifyingly messy, and it takes me longer just to navigate. So that's why I do what I do. So footage, that's just my video clips. Music, we need to import my song, so I'm going to look for that on the other half of my screen very carefully. And start digging into that. Okay, make sure I don't have any notifications. Okay, so then oh, this is kind of annoying. I have too many versions of my mix, so I'm just gonna rename this, and I think this is a good enough mix for me, so we're gonna go with that, and just kind of see how that goes. So the let me share the version of the story that I shared on stream. Mega Man X was announced essentially as the theme for Super Magfest next year. I've always wanted to cover more Mega Man songs. I think they're a lot of fun. They work pretty well for metal. Sometimes they get a little too prearranged, if that makes sense. It almost feels like someone already wrote a guitar solo, and I'm not really interested in transcribing a lot of guitar solos that already exist. I want to make my own thing. So with Mega Man Originals, I think there's a lot of space to jam. With Mega Man X, I think you have to kind of build that space yourself because there's quite a lot of melodies. But the song Storm Eagle has always stood out to me. Every time I heard a cover of it, it felt really, 80s, like power metal and like very fast and fun, synthy. And I thought that would be a really good way to get into the series because I haven't covered more than one song. And that was literally 10 years ago, I think. Maybe 9 or 10 years ago with Rashadi B. And even then, it was like a very arbitrary choice that he picked. So I was like, all right, I don't know. I guess you know Mega Man. So, yeah, with that, I pretty much just gave it a shot. I'm going to quickly close some applications that might be using up bandwidth. Okay, that seems to have helped too. So anyway, here's my cover. It's very fast. It's pretty loud. I actually might drop my volume in DaVinci Resolve later. So then I have my footage. This was shot on my Sony a7S III. It's all tripod shots, mostly because I just didn't feel like bugging Allie to film for me, but also because I thought it would be a cool way to like practice using DaVinci Resolve to make footage that most people would make more interesting just using the tools inside it. Now, first thing that you should do, I made a timeline because I wanted to color stuff and make preview pictures, and I think that's kind of fun. I like that the preview immediately goes to like the silliest face I made. But yeah, stuff like this is going to be fun, and I'm actually just going to throw that on Blue Sky. Anyway, I'm just really proud of pulling that off in my new garage without too much prep time. But anyway, yeah, I shot that on a tripod. I used my Amaran light box. None of these lights are here, obviously, but I used my Amaran light for a softbox look, and then I also used a what are these, Aperture T4C tube lights, and that's it. So 3 light setup. 2 lights in front of me, 1 gold, 1 blue. I felt like that was kind of a Storm Eagle-y Mega Man X color scheme, and one that I haven't done before, so I thought that would be kind of nice. And then I used the black backdrop. I try not to use it because it is very easy to, like, it's a very clean look, but it's also very, like, common when it comes to, like, portraits. So I don't want it to be like every video you're always just going to see the same background, and it also limits how many colors are on screen at once. So I like having like a little bit of vibrancy in the background or something a little bit more connected to the actual song when I can have it. But I haven't done one of these in forever. So also, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, I am. There we go. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've been streaming with it. But anyway, so that's how the backgrounds were. 28 to 70 millimeter lens. I'll probably start copy pasting these if I stream enough video editing to where people are curious. But point is, I just wanted to focus a lot on the guitar play because this is probably one of my flashiest arrangements yet. I say yet, not in a long time, because I do want to push in this direction way more. So anyway. There's a little bit of like cropping and moving to reframe that I did here. Again, this was just like a, hey, did my shots come out okay kind of a check. So you can even see, like there's some reframing I need to do, but this is just like my default colors. And I really like that Everything's kind of turning out quite nice, just with like some default color correcting and grading all at once. Shots like this especially kind of remind me of some of the professional work that I've seen that I really like, and that's a big draw as well. And then, you know, just introducing a little bit of contrast. I don't know, actually I know exactly why. I think I may have screwed up something, so let's learn together. Never mind. No, I didn't screw up. It just looks like log footage. And I haven't decided why. Did I shoot these in log? Or is this really just how my footage came out? Either way, I think I saved it or something. And what is this? Prefer proxies. Okay, so now here's, again, if you're following along as a tutorial, I'm going to kind of keep rolling as far as like important stuff goes. So you dump all your footage, and the first thing you should do, or the first thing you do before your break, is right click all your footage and generate proxy media. And what this does, crap, nope, don't generate new ones. I just wanted to show it. If you don't know, I always preach about this. Proxies are basically crappier versions of your footage that are stand-ins, proxies, as the literal word definition is. And by having proxies, what you're able to do is edit with the crappy version that's really easy on your computer. You get the ideas across, you know the cuts, and then whenever you want to flip back, you can just do disable proxies or prefer camera originals, you know, and that way you'll be able to check, hey, this is what it's gonna look like, and then you go back to cutting and quickly making moves and so on, and it won't lag your computer so much, which is really important. In fact, one of the number one things that I think people have told me when it comes to editing videos that they have problems with is they don't get smooth playback, or they'll do something like, I was editing in like Premiere and it was so slow, so I switched to Sony Vegas and it was faster or something. But little do you know, of course, all programs can probably generate these proxies, I'm pretty sure, between Vegas, Final Cut, DaVinci, Premiere, and what have you. It's a really, really important feature when you're working with gooder and gooder features. Hello, Compa Pato, how are you doing? But yeah, so that's what I do next. I create these proxies for all my footage, and that way we have the better and worse ones. And then the most important thing after that, honestly, is name your footage. So I think this is the first shot I did, and it's like kind of a dark wide shot, so I'm going to name it something like Storm Eagle, so SEMMX, so SEMSK, and then we'll do like wide, W_1, and that's good enough for me. I listened to all your song. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy my music. And then likewise, we're going to go to the next footage, and I think I redid performing this just so that I could act the parts out a little better. And then this one's better lit, so I could call this like 01A. It's gonna start getting messy, so I don't know. I'll call this one 01D for dark, since this shot's a little darker. And then this one's bright, so we could call it B, I guess. 01B. And then this one's kind of zoomed in, so I'll call this close. So close, and then it's the first one I shot. So you'll see a lot of extra clips. One thing I'm trying to do now is when I film the video, I'm recreating the parts. It's acting. But I may not remember all the little details of the song, so I try to rehearse it beforehand, and if I mess up, I'll shoot one more time again. So this one's close to. And then this one is, I call this neck angle because you see the neck of the guitar more. And again, it's very like, very detailed. It shows more of the lead guitar, so that's always very important to me. And I also took my time reshooting this one. So we'll have another one. And then I call this one the bridge angle. This one's really hard to get in focus by myself. It's easier if someone's holding the camera, but I was lazy. So we'll do one more, and then this is a really close up. So we'll call this close 3. And I don't think I color corrected this one either, but. And then this is one of the very, very, very rare times that I filmed myself playing bass. I normally would not want to do that because most listeners are on their phones and they won't hear the bass. And I don't necessarily write my arrangements to utilize the bass itself very much. So, you know, like with that in mind and stuff, yeah, it's a rarity that I filmed it, but in this song I did some very like interesting bass solos, and like it's a little bit more involved. So because of that, and because there's a bass solo, I filmed all these extra spots. Bass, and then we'll do bridge. So again, the footage itself, it looks very bright, very uncolored right now, and that's because we're looking at proxies. So in here, I'm going to lower my listening volume a little bit just to see if that's a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, so now we have all the parts that are named. And then if we go back to the first timeline, of course, you'll see all the footage. It has no effects. If I add the effects back, then we can see what it's going to look like at the end. But it's very slow. So we want to make sure that we can enjoy all the footage. And yeah, like for the most part, it's pretty even. When I do the real color correcting, then I will probably, you know, spend more time, you know, see like this is very washed out as far as skin levels go. Small things like that. So I may do, this is basically how color correcting works in DaVinci Resolve. You have little layers of effects that you do, and each one focuses on a different aspect of the footage to make it better and better. So one thing I can do is, you know, you could isolate so that you only see skin tone, and then that way we know what we're coloring. And then we can go to vector scope here, and this is how you know what you're doing is affecting things properly. We can see I've highlighted just the skin, and then we need it a little bit closer here because it's a little bluish. So we could take this mid and see how easy it is to change your skin tones to something crazy. So it's always important to just kind of see how this affects things. And you can see it over here too. This line represents skin tone, and of course everyone's skin tone is a little different. So if I push this too far in one direction, it may actually turn to yellow. And your goal is to make something natural, of course. You're not really trying to enhance your skin. So yeah, and like this is interesting because I'm using a yellow light, so it affects the you know, it affects how you look a lot more. It's kind of like fighting what you've done. So anyway, we don't have to worry about coloring yet. That's a whole nother art. But we do need to put these into a proper timeline and then start editing to the song. So normally people will go to edit maybe, and they'll take every single clip and then they'll slice it and do that. Do not do that. That is a very inefficient use of your time, and there's no benefit really at that point. So what we're going to do instead is maybe we can just delete all of these. Don't worry, the colors, they all saved. Actually, I'm not sure anymore. maybe I won't delete it. But what we'll do is we'll click all of this. Actually, I think I have to put them all together. It's kind of dumb. And then what we'll do is we select all video and my song, and then we right click, and we go to create new multicam. And then from here, we can do something like name it. So we could do, wow, we have a lot of dropped frames. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I hope that was just at the beginning. Anyway, we'll do Storm Eagle, Mega Man X, and then we can do something like multicam or mcam is usually what I do. Then what you want is same frame rate, minus 23.976. If you're doing something very like cinematic and exciting, I say do 24. I think it looks really good, or 23.976. Usually that's the format. And then what we do is angle sync sound. And it's going to take a listen to all the video clips and your music, and then it will use my clip name, actually. Clip name. And then, we'll just hit create and see what happens. And honestly, DaVinci Resolves has been okay, but I've had a lot of times where it doesn't do very well. So now you can see every single clip I shot is just all here. And then sometimes they disappear because I filmed only one solo, one section, different parts. But this way, it did it automatically. It took us, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. And we don't have to do anything else to get the music to line up with the videos. If you are doing it the other way, again, more power to you, but it's not very fun. It's not very like artistic, and there's not really a benefit. If you're doing it more precisely, I guess maybe you might catch some things. But anyway, so now we can actually take this multicam and we can put it into timeline. We could drag it, I think, into this timeline. So now I go to media pool, and then I zoom out, and then I can just drag. Is that correct? What is this? 155. Yeah, that's correct. Cool. So we'll just go here, and then I'm going to take off my effects because that's very intense. And then we need to open up the multicam. So what we do is we hit this button. Where was that? This button. It opens up multiple windows, and see single viewer mode, and now we're in dual viewer mode. So then we can have this right side, which is the timeline, the main thing that you are creating. And then this is like a second screen for looking at different things. So we can look at the clips, and of course we can look at our multicam. So we need to find where the song actually starts, which should be close to the beginning. And we can even open up the multicam and make sure that it's syncing, because I have a feeling it's not. Oh, wait. There we go. Yeah, and sometimes you may have to go in here and fix things, especially if your audio isn't very clear. So let's see. This might be correct, though. And then I usually like to have I used to have everything lined up like this, and that way it's easier for me to see everything all at once, like the movie. And you can see sometimes I would screw up at one very specific spot. So that's what makes it very useful for me. And sorry, I sometimes forget my like keyboard shortcuts. So if you see me zooming around, it's not because I'm a pro, it's because I'm actually still learning. That's why I'm streaming, that's why I'm using this program, so I can understand it better. Okay, so now I'm gonna just delete this and bring it back, and I should be able to see the marker I made. And if I can't, it's because something isn't working here. Oh, yes. Okay. So one thing that's very important is let's open up the multicam again. The only audio I want is my music, my final mastered music. Everything else is all just camera audio that we don't need. So now we'll just take this back, and then maybe we'll start with the the wide dark. We can do this one. And then, how do I do this? Multicam, and then we'll just cut video. And we'll start with this wide. I'm trying to remember how I do this. And this is basically the hardest part for me. There we go. Let me make sure we've got preferred proxies. We're not doing the colors. Okay. Let's see. Open in timeline, multicam. And one thing that I think I also have to remember here is I'm just going to get rid of all the other audio. And then, nope. There we go. I want this to be brought up all the way to the top without losing the sync. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is so messy that I don't want it to change ever. So let's see. Now we go back to this timeline. There we go. And now, okay, I think I started just a little early. And then maybe around here we can cut to a different angle, but I like this idea of just start with the video itself. And apologies, I'm scratching my nose a lot. I don't know if it's like allergies or dust or something. All right, so and now, how do you switch to another angle? So I think we can cut to, This is where it becomes like the art part, because you're like, well, one angle actually does look good. Should I do hold Alt? Yeah, Alt. But yeah, that one's out of focus, so then maybe we'll do the next shot. And then one thing you have to know, again, is like the heavier the shots are, and of course I'm streaming at the same time, it's still going to lag. If I disable all proxies and then turn on my effects, I think it should come back to me, unless yeah, I got rid of all of my color grades, didn't I? Here, let's see if this magically solves everything. Okay. Now, one thing we'll do later is when we color grade, we have to color grade it in the multicam timeline itself so that the raw clips are colored. And I learned that the hard way last time. And then maybe we can cut to this one, which means we need to cut here. So Control. And then now, I don't need the dark shot. And we can kind of just go as far as we want. And then maybe we can cut a couple times. Nope. And I really like this this harmonic bit, so I might choose to cut here. Whoops. I guess I didn't play bass at that part. But I don't think I'll show bass too much. Yeah. And then maybe we'll cut to here. I only really needed that dark spot for the beginning. And then we could do like a da-dum. So like a da-da-da-da. So we'll do like this bridge shot. And then we could cut to neck. So... And it's not going to look too good stuttered. So I always have to like kind of double check. And there's a tremolo effect here. So obviously like it would be cool to have some sort of like stutter here. Like a horror movie kind of effect. And to achieve that, we could just kind of throw in an effect now, or I usually put a marker so that workflow wise, I'm going to keep going. And that's kind of good enough, but I don't know. You could do like a glitch transition of sorts, and then, yeah, we'll just get rid of it right on top. And then usually during lead guitar parts, I like to make sure that people can kind of see like the interesting part of playing, but also for like normal humans who don't play guitar, it's important to me that like there's enough motion going on. So we'll just keep changing it. And then I like to make sure my face is kind of shown a good bit too. So we'll just kind of cut back and forth between like different angles. And you could do this in real time. I think that's what's kind of amazing, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna see what's up with my close angle too, because I feel like that one's not been on the ball. And then we'll do like a cut here. And then maybe we'll do like a... And I don't like doing like new cuts around specifically like solos, because I don't want it to look super faked. I want people to know that like I played that part straight through and it's still like all the same performance. I don't think I actually got that in time. So let's see if I got... We could do... And then we can cut it. And then another spot where like I have a kind of thing. So I'm gonna see if I can get some 3D Storm Eagle flybys or something. I think that would be really cool. But that's kind of what's nice about video editing in general, is like you can come up with all these ideas on the fly as you see it. You can change your ideas after you filmed it because you're like, oh crap, like that actually doesn't work. And then especially with video game stuff, or just like visually interesting stuff, you can come up with new ideas from the game. So often I'll get ideas from playing a game. Let's try this shot. This part was really hard to fake because I started going real off book. You might be able to see that as well. And this is another like crazy like glitchy spot. So then I need to get ready for what is the hardest thing I've had to like retry faking. Yeah. Freaking. This is the hardest one. So I'm just like going through angles and trying to find the one that I didn't screw up the faking the most. And where's my... Yeah, I don't know where my neck angle is. Okay, now we're going to have some fun. And now this is the bass part, which I also faked questionably. I was pretending to have a walkie-talkie there, in case anyone's wondering what the hell I'm doing. And then we can go back to the wide. But yeah, that's like a little funny section where I was like, well, it's a Storm Eagle. There's like some kind of like Top Gunny vibes going on. So, you know, it's kind of cool just to have that option. Also, I forgot to announce I'm streaming on Instagram, so I'm going to throw that up real quick. But yeah, it's kind of cool to have like a little sound design. I think when you're connecting music videos to the source material or like the story, I guess, in general, especially like if you're doing original stuff, it's important to have something that kind of like clicks really well in that way. So, you know, having walkie-talkies, having like some flying jet sounds and stuff like that's unique, and I think it's important for people to like get that connection, especially because not everyone has played the game or heard your story or whatever. So like, you know, doing that kind of stuff is really important to me, even if it's just like a tiny nod. And also like the song is done. Like we've heard a loop of it at the minute mark. So it's like, you know, if you've already heard most of the song, where do we go from there to keep someone interested in your arrangement? In any case, that's music talk, but also it comes into play when it comes to editing it together. So yeah, at this point, and then we'll cut to like I kind of like this dark shot because we're in like a new section again. And then we could cut to like you. Yeah, and I always screwed up this faking spot. So let me see if I can fix this. And what I'll do is, because I don't want to like mess up my out of sync stuff, I'll just scooch this up here. Let's take this off. And I think that's where I was trying to repair it. So we'll go here. And then, hello. Hello. Okay, cool. And then I'll sneak it back in. I just need to remember to never move that one. Maybe I'll just color it orange so I know it was bad. And then this one we could and we're out of freaking focus, as you do. Let's see, scuba-dubba-dubba-dubba. We'll turn back snapping. Yep. Maybe we'll just jump back to the base or something, because this is the cheeky part. Why don't I have a neck shot? I guess I do. And then maybe we'll... And I'll put another marker here because this is a big transition, so it's worth switching over to maybe like the wide right. Wait. And there's my thumbnail stuff. Cool. And then I'm gonna scooch that over there because I do need to use that to get a nice thumbnail. But yeah, then we have all the footage here, and then I'm gonna import my outro animation, which I totally have somewhere. I think it's like YouTuber resources, and then I make an end slate every once in a while. And unfortunately, I have to change my end slate a little bit because some small changes, nothing too big. But then, booyah, we have our Patreons, we have our thank yous, and boom, that's the end of the video. We did it. We edited the whole video, and it's not even been 40 minutes. If you are not, I mean, again, this is a 2-minute, I'm not done, but it should be this comfortable. Now, there's a few things that I'm going to add here. One is going to be like an effects overlay folder, and this is going to be stuff that I drop over that kind of glues it together, adds a little bit of fun, a little bit of like the feeling of the video and stuff. Especially, this is like kind of a computer futuristic game as is, so I want blue, I want anamorphic flares, I want like glitches, computer stuff, Mega Man. And then I also want, you know, to elevate each shot a little bit more. But yeah, that's like what a pass for me is, you know, just going through the whole video and stuff and doing the best I can. And then honestly, I'm just going to show you this part because this is how I make the thumbnails. So yeah, I'll take a shot like this, I'll apply my grade, and then that should be good enough for me to be able to grab a still. I don't know if there's anything in here that I don't like. I still don't understand this part, but that's like a very technical confusion that I don't want to dive into right now. As I stop here, I know we've got folks mostly lurking, and this happens every stream where people are just like here to kind of watch more than to engage, which I love. You know, it's nothing nicer. But if you have any questions about anything I do, anything at all, how I filmed it, how I recorded this, made this is a stream where you're meant to be able to ask those questions and not feel like you're, you know, derailing anything. It's why I'm streaming instead of doing this on my own, potentially even faster. So please stop me if you have any questions at all. In the meantime, I'm going to export this, and I'm gonna put this in my like thumbnail folder, and then I put it into PowerPoint. I put it into PowerPoint. I put this into Photoshop. That's the name of the program. And I cut things out. I make things a little sharper, whatever, grabbier, and then we fire it out. So yeah, that's pretty much the process as far as that goes. Now, next thing I think it'd be worth sharing, of course, is let's get some of these like framing things a little nicer, and then actually, can I turn this off? Is there enough brightness in this home now to where we don't need this? Okay, I'll take it. Whatever. This is a crappy camera. So, yeah. Next thing we can do is go over, okay, I edited my multicam, but now I need to like color things, right? Because you're supposed to, and how the heck do I do that? So I'm going to disable that other bit there, and then we're going to fire up some cool stuff here, and then yeah, so we're going to open up our multicam sequence, not the timeline that you made, but our box of perfectly synced goodness. And then we're going to open up each clip basically into the color tab and make sure that it's colored the way we like. So now I'm going to enable this, and we have no proxies on, so we're not going to play any of that stuff we cut back very cleanly. But on the bright side, we're going to be able to look at all of our clips and then apply different stuff. Now, I just did that magically, and that's not really a good educational content. So what we're actually going to probably want to do is explain how I did that, and then I'll go over the nodes, mostly because I just don't want to mess up how much I like that shot. So everything in Resolve to start is kind of like a toggle. So if I toggle gallery, you'll see all these different stills and like a lot of pictures from videos that are not this one. And then if I hover over them, it actually takes the color grading settings from those videos and it puts it on top of our current clip. And then if I click clips, you'll see, oh, this is that wide shot Ro was talking about, and so on. I do wish that it would tell me the name of the clip here instead of all this other information, but I digress. So once I have this, the right side here is called like the nodes list, and nodes, of course, are just like little things. I don't know. What's a good analogy? They're like little layers to me. So little layers that all slowly work together to do something whole. It's kind of like a sandwich. You know, you have bread, and each layer lettuce adds a little bit of vegginess and some freshness and crispness. Then you add your protein. Maybe you have ham or chicken or chickpeas or something, and that adds that, and so on. Likewise with nodes, you're adding certain colors, certain brightness, darkness, effects, and things that make your picture look cool. So if I take away all these right now, we start one by one, you'll start noticing that this is looking like the exact thing we shot, right? So we have me, maybe low contrast for some reason, meaning there's not a lot of super black looking things, you know, like this little background UI looks darker than my footage, and then there's nothing that's super bright. You don't have the difference between those brightness and darkness, so it doesn't look like a movie, you know, to put it even bluntly. So this first layer I have is called a color space transform, and traditionally that means that I'm loading in some file or otherwise trying to transform the color space. And I actually didn't really do that much, so I'm going to rename that to contrast. What I did was I went to this high dynamic range wheels here, and I brought the darkest parts of the footage, which is like my black background and so on, down. And then likewise, I took the shadows down because my goal was to make this kind of a silhouette. And I'm going to hide some of these just so you can see this better. And then what I did next is I kind of just moved the color of the lighter image. I don't know why I did it 0.22. Let's see what that's actually doing. I don't know. I'm going to leave it on because I'm scared that it's actually like the secret sauce. But it should be affecting things like close to the rim of my arm, the brightest parts of the image, and so on. And that's pretty much it. You can see a little red dot in the color view of anything that you've touched in DaVinci Resolve. So obviously I didn't touch everything in here, just those wheels. Next we have levels, which I guess brings back some of the brightness, and I did that in the gamma. And this is again like lift, gamma, gain is just stronger versions of dark, midtones, and light. The darkest part of your image, middle area, which is usually where our skin is, and brightest, which, you know, lights, lit objects, and so on. And next I had this film look, which is an effect that's built into Resolve. It comes with like some neat film grain, vignetting, which is just darkness on the corners, halation, which is kind of a glowing effect that happens to real film. So it's something that you can emulate on DaVinci Resolve for your digital footage. Bloom, which of course has this effect on the brightest parts to kind of like blow it out. And I'm using it super subtly. I don't think we can actually see too much of it, which is kind of my point. Sometimes you may not even notice that much of it altogether, and so on. Yeah, like there's this like film flicker effect that we don't really need. But I do think that it kind of gives a little bit of an interesting look, and as you get more into like finding your vibe with color grading, you can always choose those. I have a LUT here, or a lookup table. These are basically ways for a computer to, or like for an image to be brought up to where, oh, reds should translate to like this kind of vibey red, or blue should be more of a blue-green, and so on. And you can basically think of them almost as like the way people call Instagram filters. That's pretty much what they're trying to go for. And then using this this key tab, you're able to dial it in more. So if I go really hard, you can see like it turns my image super blue. I kept it around half because I didn't want the whole video to look blue, especially my skin tones and stuff, or else things look unnatural. Then a little bit more contrast with a tone curve on the curve here. This is just, again, like the highs get a little boost and then the lows get a little pull down. So you're starting to feel a little bit of sense of depth. Some things are darker than they look, some things are brighter than they look, and it has like this very pleasing way about highlighting the subject. So I like that. I add sharpness because I really like having kind of like that sharper footage. I think it pulls out the details really nicely. And then I have this noise reduction node at the end, and this is just a way to clean up the natural noise that you'll get from digital film, or digital video rather. So this is before, and this is afterwards. It smooths it out a little bit. I realize that I'm probably putting things out of order, but I'm not a professional. So, you know, what are you gonna do? Come at me. And yeah, that's basically what all goes into this look. So then if you really like this look, you can grab a still and it'll show up in your gallery under different folders. So I should probably clean this up, but I have like this, you know, power grades from one project and another, and, you know, from videos I shot for Ali, and, you know, so on. And I just really love, you know, that you could capture that long, arduous thing and then just paste it over as a starting point, or maybe even an end point, especially if you're in the same project, because we have way more footage that we need to go through. So now that I like what that looks like, we can go back to gallery. I don't know why I left it. And we could throw in like these super extreme looks, or we could just take one of these and apply grade. And because it's the same, you know, footage that we shot somewhere else, hello, we can just keep kind of applying and observing how that looks. I think it's, yeah, I haven't figured out why the preview here, is it because of timeline one? No, because I wanted to look at my multicam. Well, that's new. Anyway, I'm learning. So yeah, let's go back to our multicam timeline because I just wanted to make sure all of these clips specifically looked really cool. So to ensure I'm doing that right, and maybe there's a better way to do this, let's go back to our power grade folder, and I'm just going to keep pasting the footage until all of it is consistent. And that's the other thing, color correction. In every video stream, whatever I do of these, I always try to help distinguish that sometimes we're color correcting, which means you're taking your footage and normalizing what it looks like. You're making sure that nothing looks abnormal, and it's kind of at this neutral, workable state. And then color grading is where we add vibe and intrigue and make each shot kind of count even better. You know, like the thing we did with the skin tone here that I probably have to redo, you know, because like the skin tone's super bright. So maybe we'll go after the levels and we'll call this one skin, and then we'll do that thing again where I click on my fingers, and then we can drag this alpha node here, and that'll show exactly what I've selected, kind of like soften the edges a little bit. And then we can keep the highs there and get rid of the guitar part a little bit. Now we can go like here. And then and this gets harder when you have footage that isn't like you have other objects in the shot that are skin tone, orange, red, especially depending on your complexion. Let's see. And this thing itself also knows about like skin tones, and you can kind of see we're pretty good on most aspects. So just adding a little bit of life back in there, especially like bringing it towards red. Now it looks like my hand. Like I can literally just be like, ignore the weird red lighting that you're getting, of course. But yeah, that's the point of all this. And maybe I'll save this one because I'm like, well, if my skin looks weird in another shot, now we know where to fix it. Like this shot. And boom, I can actually like kind of hone in and see it. Hopefully you can as well. Likewise, this shot's going to be a little interesting because it was purposely shot in a way that elevates like how bright it can be. So if I hold control and bring it down, we'll get like this more exacting shot here. And then I can even bring like the blacks down even more, like just so that it meshes with the other shots better, which is all I'm really trying to do here. You know, like we're not trying to make the shot darker, like the overall thing just so dark that you can't see anything, but the goal is to make sure that people can kind of like understand what's going on and you know, get the vibe that you're trying to put out. So let's get rid of you. Now we got close. And then I'm still gonna do this. Let's see, what would happen if, ooh, you know what? Damn it, I like this one more. Okay, so the reason why is, so this skin node, again, it's pulling all of the things that are skin tone, which specifically is my skin, and also like some of this yellow, but it's making sure that that isn't totally lost, especially like if in real life that's how it looked, which is our goal here. So that's the part of my node that's very much like a color correction. And then likewise, we'll do some stuff here. And then bridge is colored, and I like that a lot. So now like we can do the bass, and I'm going to want to use this again, especially because this is like a hand thing. Hello, 10. How are you doing? We're editing some musics. We're actually coloring, but nonetheless. So yeah, likewise, we're going to do our new preset here. And now I think it's almost too red. So I'm kind of curious. Because, so the base color itself, which happens to just be right next to me, is like this red-orange. In my webcam, it is a much deeper, like, red. Whereas in this video right now, not quite the same. So one thing we can kind of do is, let's see. I'm going to turn off all these extra things. And then I'm going to make sure that we have like a nice contrast here. So if I could bring it down, and you can kind of see the effect. It's like, it's kind of crazy how subtle some of the things are that you can do here. I think I'll keep this at 50, but then I'm going to try to boost the redness of it, if I remember how one does that. Yeah, like there's orange that I also want to pull out. So I can use some of these different tools here. Yeah, that's what we want. And then we can make it more red than orange in certain areas. And luckily, because it's so like fine-tuned, it's not going to mess with skin tone, which is also really important. So now, there's a pretty big difference. So of course, before and after, and then with all the additional effects, hello. Now, yeah, we've got some attitude here, and I'm probably going to bring back up some of the darkest areas, because when you get super like dark footage here, it's hard to see like I'm holding on to anything, and that's going to make a difference for me when it comes to like just, you know, what's the point of showing this section? It's supposed to be like this exciting, like flamboyant almost like performance style thing. So because this is also kind of unique, I'm also going to save this as a different preset, and then in the next bass guitar image, we're gonna steal that. Cool. So we'll take that off, and then I think this is the last shot that I need to color. So we'll copy and paste this, and now, of course, this one's too bright. Maybe I can use this one. Yeah, I think this one's fine. I learned the hard way that a lot of my footage with autofocus is going to be just like out of focus. I'm also like, can I get away with like, there we go. So, hey, Lowest Expectations, how are you doing this fine Sunday? Yeah, what's everyone been up to this weekend? I feel like this is my first free weekend in a long time where I didn't have any obligations to focus on for the next week. Like no major chores, no moving, you know, just enjoyment of doing things. Of course, you're watching me work, but it's different. It's a different thing. But yeah, I'm definitely like feeling good about all of this. All right, let's see. So now we can take off all these video layers. And again, I'm going to switch back to proxies. It should have my color correction, but we'll see. We can pretty chill. Ooh, guitar and piano. That is good. I very much enjoy both of those instruments. And hopefully, you know, practicing and like just playing, it's been fun in itself. I always think of it like a video game. Like, you're supposed to not notice just magically getting better, yet, like, that's kind of part of the process. And it's super rewarding to even have, like, 1% of, like, growth, or you find yourself picking it up and being like, oh, well, yesterday I could barely hold my fingers for, like, 2 seconds on this chord, and now I can. Or I keep dropping the pick, and now it's becoming a little bit more second nature. D major is super hard. Yeah, that's the exact Yeah, that's like exactly what it was for me. I got my guitar, and that day I plugged it in, opened up the book, and I was just barely able to like strum one note. And it took me a month before I could like maybe hold a chord down and play it. And that itself was like so rewarding for me. So yeah, I mean, for a few weeks, getting to like even try a chord or remember where your fingers go, like that's awesome, and that's like part of why I enjoy like the instrument so much. It kind of gives back very frequently as you just pick it up every day. Even if you like don't play anything, you just kind of like hold it and get your fingers to push down on strings a little. Like that interaction will go really far. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm starting to get hungry, so I will call the stream by 2, but I want to make sure I continue because I'm leaving this as a VOD. If you ever play in Resolve and you're like, this might be useful, that's my goal with streaming these, especially for a lot of music video makers and like the Game Grooves community and so on. So anyway, I'm going to bring in some of my favorite like overlay effects that I think would be useful for something like this music video. And this one's definitely meant to be a little bit more modern. So we'll have things like, that's a little vintagey, but like, yeah, this anamorphic transition, which is just basically like someone playing with the lens. And what we can do is we can use it as an overlay. So it'll get rid of the absolute black values and then have it feel like a camera was holding it. And speaking of, I have to add handheld shake to everything later. But for now, I'm going to do that. And then a buddy of mine gave me like these overlays that are really cool. This warm leaks and warm glows. But we don't want warmth. This is a video about Storm Eagle. So we probably want to like change it to be blue, which we can do later. So for now, we have the music video kind of starting like this. And you know what? I'm going to go back because there's something important here I need to do. And I think this is like worth showing on stream. So if you look here, this is like my garage. You know, like this is just stuff we don't need to see. So what I'm going to do is reframe. Something that you can do whenever you have shots that you kind of like. And here, I'm just going to disable all the colors. It's a little faster. Because, yeah, like we don't need to see my garage. And we can actually do some cool stuff in Resolve to make this easier. I don't need all of that. Wait, that's not the center. That can't be the center. Okay, so that's 16 by 9. I feel like that's not the center, right? Like, I'm not crazy. That's not absolute center. Anyway, I'm just going to use this all as like a guide, and then I'm going to try to make that a little straighter. And poop. We'll scooch me over to where the lights are kind of centered. And then I'm going to take off the guides. I'm going to just zoom in enough. Cool. And now if I add back my color grade, it's a little bit more even and it just looks like a planned angle, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I can copy and paste transform stuff. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to. Can I like edit copy attributes or something? Okay, let's do DaVinci Resolve copy inspector settings. Okay, I see. Copy and then paste attributes. Alt V. And then, yeah, all I wanted to do there is we're gonna copy, paste my transform stuff. Oh, and you can do color correction, fusion stuff. Okay, I don't want any of that. Maybe I should. Oh, that's fine. Cool. Okay. And the camera did not move. I can't I can't emphasize that enough. I didn't do that much. And this one, no. Okay. I wanted to make sure like I wasn't just copying and zooming in too far. But yeah, I like that. And then we don't need to reframe you or you or you. That one's golden. And then this one I already had zoomed in pretty good. Okay, cool. And again, the reason why I did that is because I wanted to make sure this is a very satisfying shot to look at, especially this is like how we open the entire freaking video, right? Like you want to kick down the door and just be like, this is going to be awesome. Hang on. And then what we can do is so I want to like slow zoom. And then maybe we can even pan it. And if you do it slowly for digital, I don't think people notice as much as okay, what did I do? If I were to have done like a well, yeah, I don't think they notice as much as if I did something extreme. So and now this is like the part of this is a little tedious to me, but it's important, so I get over it. We're gonna want like some whip pans and stuff, or and I don't know what all Resolve has or what all I have. Foreground wipe, elastic rubber, disarrange. Is there a discombobulate? Ooh, camera shake. That's new. We're gonna turn off the. Hello? Where's my transition? Okay, not sure why it wouldn't let me have a transition there, but we'll just use my more expensive one and assume that one will work. There we go. And then we did a glitch transition there. That's right. Cool. And then maybe we could do like And then when the harmony comes in, we could do like, oh man, I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry. All right, we're gonna keep going. 20 minutes. I got this. We can just do one of these overlays, just to kind of introduce a little like excitement and something unique's going on. We'll just see how that feels. You can always take it out if I hate it. And you can kind of see it's a little widescreeny. Maybe we should do like one of these. It's meant to be a transition anyway, so. And that's like a very big kind of hit moment too. So maybe we'll do like now I try not to do too many glitch changes because I don't want to say it's because they're easy, but it's like, yeah, it gets old because we're not really going to see the difference, at least to me. So and then let's do a little bit of color saturation here. Am I not allowed to choose what color it becomes, please? Pretty please. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of weird. I thought this effect lets me choose a color, but okay, I'll take it. And I thought I had way more anamorphic stuff too. So let's see. Can I import media? Let me dig. Let's dig in some of my like production crate and whatnot. Stock footage, cinematic flares. I do have a bunch of these. Just don't remember what they look like. Let's find out. Yeah, that'll work. And where's the chorus? Yeah, I'm gonna lock this in. You'll notice I lock a lot of stuff because I'm very scared. And then, yeah, this should be like a screen. So screen, if you're not familiar, means that it takes away all the black again. So you have this like overlay that kind of just pops in. And this is giving like a blue-green color, so we may want to change that. So let's see if I've got like just a classic tint. Nope. Change color, please. Something. Oh, I think I need to look it up in this one. I also need to learn how to spell, but gosh, why would I do that? False color, nope. Gosh, there's a lot of effects in here. The free version that I used ages ago did not have almost any of this. Like that there's a dust buster. Like, they think of everything that would happen. Stylize. It's like tilt shift blur, stylize. Smear. Oh. Ignore the hungries. Ignore it. Wait a second. Multitone. Yeah, okay. So this multitone effect allow me to pick blue as the highlight, and maybe as a shadow we can try for like a dark golden. And then of course the main thing here is subtlety. So like and yeah, like if we add the effects back, now you can kind of see like, oh, there's like some interesting layers going on here. But then if I did like that, then it's just like, what the heck is on my screen? That's like the level of thought I put into this stuff. So not a lot, but it's something. And because we have like 3 of these, you know, like why don't we put another one? And then do Alt-V again. I think I can paste everything, including plugins. And then I'm gonna paste one more here, and then I'm gonna Alt-V it so that it has all the same stuff, but I'm gonna increase the opacity and see if there's a good point where I can kind of like, maybe there's not. So I'm gonna make a transition here. Ooh, burn away. There's some cute ones here. There's some cool stuff. Now why won't you show me this? Is it because we need to use the real thing? Nope. Okay, then we're going back to proxies. It might not have enough time or something, which is okay, but I'm like, then I don't want to do it. Is it because of you? Or is this like GPU accelerated and it needs like more help or something? And I was like finishing transitions faster than I start them, so we'll just go away. And that's another one where I'll be like, let's whip pan that or something, or yeah, just something like a little bit more exciting. So maybe we'll use a paid camera shake again. And this leads into the guitar solo. Now, one trick that I think is super, super helpful is to zoom as far away from your footage as possible. Is kind of copy paste your verse chorus effects and then change them. And that way you kind of have stuff going on the whole time, but it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of dive into. And yeah, let's got 10 minutes till food. Okay. Nope, we're not there yet. Okay, so we'll throw this all at the I don't know why it's not pasting where I want it to. There we go. Actually, I don't want to reuse this one since that one was like so long. Now the dangerous part of all this is like, if people see it repeat, it does lose its novelty. So we could always switch it out. Like, why don't we just, is there a faster way to replace footage? Like, in Premiere, I would just hit Alt and then drag it on top. Let's see. Conform along with me. That's not what I wanted. Oh, interesting. Okay. No. It's because of this. Okay, that kind of worked, but it felt scary. This does have a notable effect on like the brightness of the clip I use it on. So I'm gonna like, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch for that. So let's do some fun stuff here. For one thing, I'm gonna put this overlay. I'm gonna set it to like 300 speed. So it's like gonna be rapid fire, which is fun. And then we're gonna do that, and then we'll add that multi-tone. And what multi-tone does is basically it's like it makes your footage black and white, chooses a what color to make the brightest parts and what colors to make the darkest parts, and then yeah, the end result is pretty cool. And then obviously we don't want too much of that effect, which is why I'm like kind of confused why I can't dial in a percentage of an effect, but we can just do that. Okay, so we need it to last that long, so I'm gonna lower the speed a little bit. Hi, David. Hope you're doing well. edit in a video in the inaugural. It's the inaugural garage music video filming. So yeah, it's nice to have one again, and just in general to have a house again and all that. But yeah, I think this one will hopefully pop out sometime soon. Then also, I've been spending a lot of time working on that certain synth sound still. But hope your Sunday's good. I think this is where we're gonna get more of this crystal-y looking thing going again. And then I think we still have the same effects. We're gonna just keep dropping all these crystals everywhere. And the main thing also is like, I want to make sure that they don't overlap. Also, that's kind of weird. I thought I would cut here. Okay, and then we can even just right click. If you don't feel like taking out the complex multi-angle thing, you could just switch it to no, to an angle that you actually filmed. Oh, well, we can't do that because of that. And sometimes I forget. This is like essentially a process that I've been doing for like 15 years. It's weird. And then we don't need to keep the crystal going. Okay, and then we're gonna do this. Hello? Hotkeys! Okay. And then we do that. We also don't need the dual viewer. Okay. And then we have the Polyphia reference, and then we can jump to transitions again. And like, again, we're like so close in terms of like what is passable for me and like hits all the notes, which is really exciting because the reality is we haven't done that much like work. Our video is an hour and a half of time spent, and it maximizes the style I'm going for. And if that's all it takes for a lot of people, which I believe that is, you know, then good on you. Go ahead. A lot of people have like a very strong interest in different styles of videos, and that adds time, of course. And there are videos that I will put 9 months of work into, and then videos I'll put an afternoon of work into. Videos will go outside to cut, and then videos that we just need to get done. Like, and then here, let's paste another one of these warm leaks again. And then I think this one lets me kind of stretch it out a little bit. Nope. So let's copy and paste this and then switch it to like glows halfway. And then we'll do the same thing. And again, one of the things I like to do eventually is like take off the proxies and also just look, hey, what is your video actually going to look like, you know, when you render it out? And all that stuff is really nice. Is there another shot of me standing? Okay. Yeah, and like, now I kind of want to go back because I'm like, well, that looks not like I wanted it to. And I wonder if it's because of the overlay. Is that totally messing with it? Yeah, it is. So yeah, that might not be the right blend mode, or yeah, the blend mode might be kind of ruining the darker contrast that I wanted there. But that's kind of what's nice about it, is like we can recognize that immediately. See, like, that looks so awesome to me, but then I'm like, I don't know if, like, that's as dark as I need it, or... Soft light might be interesting. Yeah, I kind of like the soft light. So yeah, we can change all of these to soft light and then back off a little bit. I'm going to turn off snapping because it's starting to get a little annoying. And then I'm going to actually copy and paste this one a little bit. Because, yeah. Let's see, Alt-V, and then copy. Yeah, we want everything. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my soft light. And then we'll get up here. Okay, now let's see. No. I must be forgetting a step somewhere. Opacity, yeah, like that's what I'm doing. There we go. This one might have benefited from being screen. This is the anamorphic one, and also I need to zoom it out more. We could try overlay. My tummy is like grumbling. This is the first time I've actually been like hungry in a while. You know how like sometimes you think you're hungry every day and then you go eat because it's just the time of day and there's no other compelling reason why you're eating? That's normally how I am, except this time, no, I'm hungry. Anyway, I have some VFX ideas that I'm going to try to throw in here. Maybe I'll save those for like the release only, just so that people have a reason to check out the full video if they watch the stream and we're like, well, that might be really interesting, but I don't know. And otherwise, yeah, this is basically, again, to me, if I saw a video that was cut like this, I'd be like, that's a cool video. I'm proud of this, especially for like an hour and a half, and it probably would have taken less time if I weren't streaming. So that's kind of like the basics of getting, you know, shots I like, something interesting about the video to where it's not just copy paste, and I'm like kind of learning new features and plugins because I haven't used Resolve enough. So and yeah, like just also showcasing music performance in this one. Not a lot of skits, not a lot of fun quite yet. What I'll likely do is if I add any effects, which I do have one, but I'll probably show that. Maybe I'll make a VFX spin here. Let's go to media, actually. And this one is just like the actual Storm Eagle doing something kind of cool here. I call it the Seagull. Oh my god, is that why they named it that? And it was just supposed to be like a laser firing, or I think it's a hurricane. So I would, let's see, where is it? Interpret the footage, clip attributes. Yeah, here you can make sure like the frame rate is what you want and all that. And then, and I'd probably put it early in the video too. So yeah, you could just have it like pop in and be like, "Hi, I'm a bird." And then obviously like maybe make it go way faster. Oh yeah, this is not going to play back smoothly. So, and then you could have him like fire a laser off here, and then we just get rid of him anyway. And that way, it'll explain why the like thing is whipping. but I need to get like a whirlwind to like fire out of here. And then I was gonna have him like do a quick flyby in front of the camera or something, but it's like when you have videos that are super realistic, it's hard to like incorporate that as well. So yeah, like logically you would want lens blurs, because the camera is technically focused on me, right? So you'd be like, well, realistically, if someone shoved a little gun in front of the screen, it would be something else, and so on. Anyway, we could probably play with that, because then I could like out of focus the background or something. That might actually be smarter. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas there, but I haven't played Mega Man X enough. I did some field research. But in any case, I'm going to call it here. I'm starving. I'm going to make myself a bagel. I appreciate everyone checking this out. If you're new to DaVinci Resolve, if you've been on the, how did they do that? Oh, I'll get to it one day, but I just need a tutorial. But I need one made for music videos, but not like too good a music video, or, I just want me filming myself and cutting it with multicam so that it happens fast. This is the video I'm hoping will help you, or the stream rather. If you have any questions at all, please come to my Discord or reach out to me anywhere, Blue Sky emails. And let me know if I should stream more video editing or like focus on specific stuff or do tutorials. That's something I'm going to try to do more now that I've, got the space. All right, take care.